Welcome to another transfer tips video where I talk about the players to buy, hold, sell and skip. Let me know if there's any other players that you would add to any of these kind of lists. It would be greatly appreciated, and let's try to get this video to over 200 likes and keep smashing the subscribe button. We're very close to 13,000 subscribers, so thank you very much for all your support, and let's just jump straight into it. I discussed Mitrovic in my team selection video, so be sure to check that out as well. His XG is 4.98 in 5 matches. He's got 8 big chances, and he even has 1 big chance created with 5 key passes, and he has scored against the likes of Arsenal and Liverpool. He can do it against anybody. The problem is Tottenham and Chelsea up next, but I'm actually looking to target that Game Week 7 fixture against Chelsea, the West London derby. Spurs away next does seem like the toughest fixture, but the form Mitrovic is in, you wouldn't want to back against him too much, and if Fulham are going to score, Mitrovic will most likely be involved. He has 48 goals in his last 48 league matches. Is absolutely ridiculous, his record, and he is amongst the best strikers in the Premier League right now, and I could see him, as I said in pre-season, getting 15 plus Premier League goals, and he's already got 5, so 1/3 of the way through. Mitrovic for me is a buy if you're looking for a third forward. Another one that's going to become very popular is Isaac, who scored a goal and also had 1 disallowed against Liverpool. He looked very, very promising, but I still prefer Mitrovic. I think he'll get more goals and at a cheaper price. Mitrovic can't be ignored any longer. The same could be said about Wilfried Zaha. He has been so consistent in 2022. He has 13 league goals in this calendar year. Only Son and Harry Kane have more. He's got 4 goals in 4 games this season. His expected goals is just under 3. He's got 5 big chances. He scored a world-class goal against Brentford, and for me, he's one of the best midfielders in the league right now. He's got some tough games coming up, and Man United now is becoming a bit more of a difficult fixture. Chelsea could be quite tough, but still, I think on the whole, these fixtures are quite average. There's not many easy games in the league regardless, but I don't think it's the worst set of fixtures you will see, and Zaha can deliver against anyone as well, in my opinion. So I think it's a worthwhile buy. If you're looking for a midfielder around this price point and below, I would probably argue that Zaha is the best, especially if you're unsure about Rodrigo, who we'll be talking about very soon. But Zaha is so consistent. He's a great dribbler, fantastic play overall, but he's also getting those FPL points, which is very important. The last buy in this video is someone else I discussed in my team selection video, so I'm not trying to mislead anyone here. I personally believe Trippier is one of the best defenders to buy, especially if you're looking to wildcard in the weeks to come, because if you can see here, from Game Week 6 to 10, some very good fixtures. Brentford and Bournemouth at home could be clean sheets there for Newcastle. Crystal Palace at home isn't the easiest game, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Toon managed to keep a clean sheet. West Ham away and Fulham away are maybe a bit tougher in terms of a defensive perspective, but I still like those fixtures overall. Trippier's attacking threat, as you can see, in terms of the underlying numbers, isn't that great, and I've always said this, but he is a fantastic free kick taker. He's got a great cross on him, and overall, in terms of the bonus points, he is very good in terms of all of those metrics. So I think Trippier's a great defender to buy right now, especially if you're looking to sell Robertson and find some money there, or maybe a like-for-like replacement for Cucurella, which is also something else I'm looking to do in the weeks to come. So for me, Trippier is one of the best defenders to buy from this point onwards, especially if you're wildcarding very soon. Another player that I've been talking about keeping and trying to show some patience with all week is Reece James. Even heading to the Game Week 5 deadline, yes, I admitted, of course, he's going to miss the Southampton game, but he's worth holding for the weeks after. The injury or illness, as it is not serious, and he's going to be back very soon. He's already in training, so it all looks good on that front. He has those attacking returns, and some people are considering the possibility of going from Reece James to Fofana, covering the same defence, but for 1.6 million cheaper. Well, that's true. You're also getting many fewer attacking returns, and Reece James is really there for that. Most of his points come from the goals and assists, so I wouldn't be looking to sell him, and I still like him a lot because even when Chelsea don't keep a clean sheet, I can see him doing a great job. The signing of Fofana actually boosts Reece James's chances of playing as the right wing back, which is his best position, and it also helps Chelsea from a creative point of view and to be a much better team overall from a defensive perspective and also going forward. His underlying numbers are pretty good for a defender, considering he's only played 4 games, 1 goal and 1 assist already. He's just done a great job so far this season. Maybe no double-digit returns, no clean sheets really for him apart from Game Week 1, but I still like Reece James a lot, and I think he's a fantastic option in the weeks to come. The last hold of this video is Ivan Toney. Some people are considering selling him for Isaac or Mitrovic, and I just wouldn't do that. I would maybe look to add one of those forwards to your forward line, but not at the detriment of Ivan Toney, who is still one of the very best options, and I prefer him over Isaac right now until we see more from the Sweden striker. 2 goals and 2 assists in 5 games is a decent return. Good underlying numbers, including 4 big chances created and 5 big chances. Brentford still have a good set of games coming up, and Toney is maybe a bit quiet recently. He got a yellow card as well, I think, in Game Week 4, which also, makes things very frustrating, but he's a great player overall. I would look to keep him, and I think he's probably the second best budget or mid-price forward in the game right now, other than Mitrovic, who is getting all the goals. And if I had enough money, I would have considered going for Toney over Mitrovic, especially because of the fixtures coming up and the possibility of me wildcarding around Game Week 9. But Ivan Toney, for me, do not sell him if you have him. Would I be looking to buy him in? Well, I'd still consider the possibility, but he's definitely a hold nonetheless. We do have breaking news that Rodrigo is going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks, and he's going to probably return after the international break. So no surgery is required, which is very good news for the Spaniard, but it also means that he's going to be missing the next few game weeks, and therefore he is a sell, and an easy switch will be Martinelli, but maybe a less obvious one would be upgrading to Zaha, İlkay Gündoğan, or an 8 million midfielder. And those of you that are maybe going very big at the back, you can downgrade one of your defenders like Robertson and then upgrade your midfield. But let me know what you're going to do with Rodrigo. Which replacements are you looking for? But ultimately, he has to be sold. I talked about holding Heung-min Son a few weeks ago, but he just hasn't delivered. He was very close to getting on the end of that Harry Kane pass for the goal against West Ham, but it ended up being an own goal by Timo Kerrer, and Heung-min Son has been so disappointing. Probably the most disappointing asset all season. 1 assist in 4 games, which came in Game Week 1. His XG is 1.22. His underlying numbers in general are woeful. 1 big chance overall. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. And Heung-min Son will bounce back. There's no way he's going to continue struggling and not scoring goals. But is he going to match what he did last season? Well, what we've seen so far in this campaign, you'd probably say no chance, and he might not even get close to 20 goals, but things can change very quickly in football, and I could still see him doing very well in fixtures against Man City, for example, but I still think it's worth selling because there's the possibility of rotation against Fulham, and Richarlison probably deserves a start over the South Korean. And not only that, you've got De Bruyne, Salah, Sterling even, who's doing very well around a similar price, not to mention the 8 million midfielders like Maddison and Diaz. You've got Gündoğan and many others to choose from who might offer much better value. So Heung-min Son for me is a sell. I tipped Bukayo Saka to get returns against Fulham and Aston Villa, and he has done so in back-to-back matches, but the upcoming fixtures aren't that great. Man United away could be very tough for Arsenal. Then you've got Tottenham and Liverpool on the horizon. Everton and Brentford look pretty good, and Saka has a good chance of returns there, but he's been very underwhelming so far this season. 2 assists. He was very unlucky maybe not to get a penalty as well, which would have added a third assist to his name. His expected goals and expected assists is just nothing amazing, and to be honest, pretty poor, especially by his standards. 1 big chance created, 7 key passes. Martinelli is the go-to Arsenal midfielder, and then you've got Jesus up front. I wouldn't look to triple up on Arsenal attack. I think that's a bit too much, despite how well they've been doing so far this season. And Bukayo Saka will turn things around. I think he'll start to rack up those goals and assists, but I still think it's worth selling because you've got so many other options around the same price and below who are doing a much better job. The last sell of this video is Andrew Robertson, but I would only do so if you're able to upgrade your midfield or attack. Maybe you can do Bailey or Neto up to Zaha, or you could get Mitrovic for your 4.5 million forward. If that's the case, I would go ahead and do it despite the fixtures. However, if you're not really going to make another huge upgrade, then it's worth keeping him for the next 2 especially. I could see 1 clean sheet against Everton or Wolves, and to be honest, he could keep them against both, despite the fact that Liverpool have only kept 1 in the opening 5 games. Robertson's underlying numbers are very poor, especially by his high standards, and a lot of Liverpool fans are calling for Tsimikas to start, and to be honest, he does deserve it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Robertson was benched in one of the upcoming games. Ultimately, I've actually ended up selling Robertson. You can check out my team selection video to see who I've brought in to replace him, and also what I've done with that extra money. But I won't deny that Robertson has a great chance of some returns in the upcoming fixtures, even those that seem tougher like Arsenal and Chelsea. So Robertson for me is a sell. Let me know what you're doing with the Scotsman. He is still one of the best fantasy assets, but he's not delivering, and other than the Bournemouth game, he is just continuously blanked. Ivan Perisic is someone to buy maybe in the weeks or months to come, but right now he's a skip. I don't think he's going to start against Fulham, and then he has some tough games from a defensive perspective. I'm not convinced by Spurs, and Perisic has been very impressive, don't get me wrong, but there are better alternatives if you're looking to maybe replace Robertson or get a defender around this price for the next 3 to 5 game weeks who will probably get more clean sheets and more starts, such as Kieran Trippier. He's got some very good underlying numbers, Perisic, with 2 assists. He's only started 3 games, and he's also got some good expected assist figures and also big chances created, but I wouldn't be looking to buy Perisic right now. Man United have improved since their 4-0 defeat to Brentford, and Malacia has been a shining light so far this season. Even in that game where they lost 4-0, Malacia came on and did a pretty good job, and he is probably going to keep Shaw out in the long term from the starting 11. He's only 4.5 million, but he doesn't have too much attacking threat, and you're really relying on the clean sheets there. And I would rather go for Botman, Fabian Schär, Saliba, or for a 5 million defender. You also got Lewis Dunk as well, who offers much better value, who will get more clean sheets arguably, and also more attacking returns. So Malacia could be a good option maybe later down the season, but right now I just wouldn't be considering him. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about getting him in. I just don't see it personally. Anthony Gordon has been quite surprising, offering fantastic value at 5.5 million with back-to-back goals and some fantastic underlying numbers. He's got 16 shots overall, 12 shots inside the box and 12 on target with an expected goals figure of just under 3, and he's got 3 big chances. He's playing in these kind of central striker roles for Everton because they're so short in those positions, but Gordon has been fairly impressive. I still wouldn't go for him though, and I think Martinelli, Rodrigo, Gross, Zaha all offer better value at 7.2 million and below, not to mention Gundogan for a little bit more. And then you've got the 8 million midfielders, Sterling, who's looking pretty promising right now to be fair, and of course the premiums. I would rather go for those midfielders instead of Gordon. Instead, I'd rather downgrade if you maybe want someone who's very cheap, and you can go to someone like Andres Pereira at 4.5 million and bench them in most weeks. I wouldn't want to start Gordon, especially with these upcoming games. Liverpool, Arsenal, then you've also got Man United mixed in there. So Gordon's been very good, and he could continue this, to be fair, with these underlying numbers, but I still wouldn't rate him too much as an FPL asset compared to those in other price brackets. So that's it. We've covered 12 players in the buy, hold, sell and skip. Let me know if you disagree with any of these and if there are any other players you would add to any of these different brackets. And thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. Let's get this video to over 200 likes and we're very close to 13,000 subscribers. Be sure to check all the links in the description below and follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM. There's also the Discord server, the FPL League, the channel memberships and Patreons. All of that is there in the links in the description below. So I wish you all the best of luck for Game Week 6 and the rest of the season. I hope you do very well, and I'll see you next time.